Ano ba walang relasyon yung EEZ dito sa ating sovereignty over
Mm.
KIG. Maliwanag po 'yan, 'no?
Oo. Kasi, in the first place, yung konsepto ng EEZ, that was created while we were negotiating UNCLOS
Mm.
from 1972 to 1982. O, pansinin mo, 1971 nung in-announce natin yung acquisition of sovereignty sa Calayan Island Group. So, nauna yun eh. Tapos, yung konsepto ng EEZ, actually, ang kumbaga nag-imbento niyan ay yung mga developing countries, particular yung mga Africans at saka South Americans. No? Nung inumpisahan yung negotiations for UNCLOS, at the time, ang maritime zones lang ng mga bansa ay territorial sea at internal waters. Sa
Mm.
labas ng territorial sea, high seas yan, open to all. Ang problema, walang kasunduan kung hanggang gaano kalayo yung territorial sea. Ang karamihan, 3 nautical miles ang inaangkin nila. Pero yung iba, merong 6, merong 12. No? So, yun yung isa sa mga long-standing and unresolved issues pagdating dun sa mga maritime zones. Although pumapayag ang bansa na magkaroon ng territorial sea, hindi sila magkasundo kung hanggang gaano kalayo.
Mm.
Yan yung pinaka-problema na nag-umpisa nung UNCLOS negotiations. Kasi nga, hundreds of years na yung issue na yun, hindi pa na-resolve. So inulit na naman nila. They tried to resolve it with the UNCLOS conference starting in 1972. And finally, na-resolve nila na 12 nautical miles. Pero bago sila umabot doon, di syempre, pumuposisyon ng lahat ng mga bansa, no? Particular yung mga developing countries at saka yung mga developed countries. Ang problema ng developing countries, mga ano yan dating colonies, natatakot sila na yung mga likas yaman dagat na malapit lang sa kanila, nasa labas ng territorial sea, okay, basta nasa karagatan nila, baka agawin ng mga developed countries kasi sila yung may technology, sila yung mayroon sila mga long distance fishing fleets, no? So yung unang position nila is hindi, ilayo natin yung territorial sea. Gusto nilang umabot ng napakalayo. Yung iba, 200 nautical miles gusto nilang territorial sea. Na hindi
Mm.
naman matanggap ng mga developing states kasi pag ganon, bale magi-interfere yan doon sa maritime trade. No? Yung mobility nila at saka yung militaries naman nila, mga navies nila, may hirapan din magdaan. No?
Mm.
So, nag-negotiate sila. Eventually, napag-alaman, na-realize nila na kaya interesadong mag-extend ng territorial sea yung mga developing countries is because they wanted to secure yung mga fisheries, yung mga natural resources.
Mm.
So, nag-offer ng compromise na the developed countries will accept and recognize yung rights nila doon sa natural resources through the concept of the EEZ, no? Na yun nga yung mga Africans ang nag-propose. Tapos, in exchange for that recognition, yung mga developing countries naman will scale back yung kanilang claim to a territorial sea, hindi masyadong malayo, and eventually nag-agree sila lahat na, o sige, lahat tayo 12 nautical mile territorial sea. So, yun yung
Mm.
parang give and take nila. Tapos yung ding maritime powers negotiate din na kahit na merong expanded territorial sea, meron pa rin silang rights na magdaan, no? Yung mobility again, yung concern nila.
Oo.
So yun yung lumabas eventually dun sa UNCLOS. Now, yung negotiations ng UNCLOS took nearly 10 years, okay? So in the meantime, dahil napakaganda ng idea ng EEZ para sa mga developing countries especially, karamihan hindi na hinintay na matapos yung negotiation. Nag-declare na sila ng EEZ nila kahit hindi pa tapos yung negotiation sa UNCLOS. Kasama doon ng Pilipinas. No?
Mm.
Nag-declare tayo ng EEZ 1978. No? Yung UNCLOS negotiations were still ongoing. 1982 siya natapos eh. So we were one of, I think, about 45 countries at the time that already had an EEZ by the time the UNCLOS negotiations were finished. So walang question na ang Pilipinas merong EEZ, 1978 pa lang, kumbaga yung original. Yan, lalo siyang napagtibay ng UNCLOS kasi nirecognize na ng UNCLOS formally yung concept ng EEZ. So, in addition to domestic law, naging international law pa, di ba? Yung basehan ng ating karapatan sa EEZ. And then after that, 1982, 1987 Constitution, nung nag-promulgate tayo ng bagong Constitution, nakalagay doon sa Constitution that actually the state has a duty to protect the nation's marine wealth in its exclusive economic zone, no, as well as its archipelagic waters and territorial sea. So malinaw na in-implement, no? And then subsequently we had a mining code of 1995 tsaka fisheries code of 1998. Pareho sila na applicable sa exclusive economic zone. Nakalagay yun dun sa kanilang scope of application. So again, ini-implement natin. And so by the time na in-enact actually itong RA 12064 last year, no, establishing the maritime zones of the country, parang inulit lang natin at ni-reinforce lang natin, inayos lang natin ng konti para talagang directly consistent na siya ngayon dun sa kung ano yung lumabas sa UNCLOS. Okay? Kasi yung original nating EEZ decree, maikli lang, no? Kasi it was based on the kumbaga negotiating text. Sa UNCLOS humaba yun, dumami, naging mas detalyado, mas marami yung rights and obligations na in-specify. So, in-adapt na natin yon through RA 12064. So, there should be no question at all about whether or not we have an EEZ.